Welcome to the Private Practice Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brooklyn Storme, here to help you unlock the mind, business, and spirit of your private practice success. So whether you're just starting out or you're looking to grow, this is the place for you if you really want to create a thriving private practice. Before we dive in, I want to share something that can really make a difference in your business. Imagine having an expert in your pocket, someone available on demand whenever you need guidance. Well, that's exactly what my new program, Practice Momentum, offers. With over 30 years of experience at your fingertips, you can now get the support you need whenever you need it. Curious? Head over to brooklynstorme.com to learn more. And now let's get into today's episode.
Hi, my name is Chloe and I'm part of the Practice Momentum program. I've been working with Brooklyn for a couple of months now and I can't believe it took me this long. Before I joined Momentum, I was trying to do everything. I was trying to refine my marketing. I was trying to update my website all the time. I was trying to network. I was trying to build my practice, and I had absolutely no idea what to focus on, what I needed to do first. I couldn't understand why nothing was working. It was so stressful because there was no money coming in at that point, and I had been following Brooklyn for a few years and I always wanted to do coaching with her, and I always kind of put it off because I didn't feel like I was at that point in time. It was my imposter syndrome pretty badly. Fast forward, the time felt right. Brooklyn was so accommodating and helpful with finding a way for me to do the program, and it's been absolutely life-changing. Brooklyn has helped me to plan and make goals and break down bigger tasks. Like, don't just do a website, actually break it into parts so you have areas to focus on, which I've never done before. I'm so grateful. I reached all of my goals in the last quarter, and that led to a massive increase in my caseload, in my income, and my website is actually generating referrals now, which is incredible. I didn't think it would ever happen. So I'm so grateful. If you're thinking about it, don't wait as long as I did. Absolutely do it. I couldn't speak highly enough of Brooklyn, her generosity, her care and compassion.
Okay, welcome. I was going to say, I'm so nervous about doing this episode because it's the episode on the 100K in 90 days, and I have deliberately been avoiding looking at the numbers. So let me explain myself. I track my numbers all the time in terms of like what's going on with the business, and it's something that I ask everyone in Momentum to do as well. But when I say to you I haven't been looking at the numbers, what I mean by that is I've had a different spreadsheet going that's been put in all the totals for everything. So anyway, I haven't seen the totals. So I really don't know what's been going on. I was going to say I was avoiding doing this episode because I'm just so nervous to see what it says. I haven't even looked at it yet. You're going to like hear this all happening in real time. I just got like that rush of adrenaline, you know, where you're wondering if something is a really good idea. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. Like, I've said that I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Okay. Oof. What am I going to do? Okay. I'm going to bring up the spreadsheet and I'm going to have a look at the totals, and oh my gosh, fingers crossed this is going to work. Then what we'll do is we will go and have a look at, I've been tracking everything that I've been doing over the 90 days, and I want to do like a little bit of a debrief with you so that we can get some better insight as to what worked, what didn't. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this whole process again, and yeah, if I didn't make the 100K in 90 days, I'm just going to try again. And hopefully, with a refined process, we'll get closer to it. Anyway, I am so nervous. Okay, we're just going to do it. We're just going to do it. So I will need to bring up the spreadsheet. So let's do that. If you can hear clicking around, that's me nervously bringing up my spreadsheet. And then, of course, I want my Henry dashboard. So let me just get into that. Okay, log in. I'm going to have to go back to the previous year to date. Oh my gosh, it's like 11:27 Saturday morning and I feel like I need whiskey and a steak. Okay, we're just going to go and have a look. All right, so I got my spreadsheet open. I got Henry open. Let me write it down. Okay, it says 1, 2. Hang on. And then there's that one and that one. Okay. All right. I'm just going to add it up and we'll see where we're at. That's 1, 2, 3. Sorry for the silence here. 9275 11930, then 10793. Oh, okay. Actually, pleasantly surprised. The numbers are in. It's 81,798. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 50, 60, 21. Yeah, 81,798. Oh my gosh. Well, look at that. So, okay. I didn't hit the 100K goal, but I think it's fair to say we got close to it, don't you? I guess now, like, I'm feeling like, okay, this actually might be possible, and I want to know, like, what did I do that actually worked and what didn't? So come over with me and we'll have a quick look at my 90 days. And I'm not going to read off everything, obviously. As I said, I'll give this to everybody momentum in case they want to see sort of like what it looks like behind the scenes for me. But I'll also give you context as well. So generally speaking, I don't really have that many one-to-one appointments anymore. I have a few, less than 4 or 5 a month. And it's just people that I'm finishing off that are still on contracts with me, whatever. So they will finish at some point. But outside of that, it hasn't been any one-to-ones. The only kind of locked in times I've had with my diary are when I've been doing group calls for like the Diploma Counsellor Society, the DCS, or when I've chosen to do workshops for Practice Momentum, like, a couple of 90-day planning workshops every couple of months and things like that. And then the other time that I have dedicated is when new people start with me, like for example in Practice Momentum, they get a 2 hour session with me where we do the business assessment for them and then make their first 90-day plan. So we do that together. But outside of that, it's no clients. The time gets spent by me working on things behind the scenes, usually for my clients, but it can include things like audience growing activities like say this website, for example, or writing little posts for Facebook, writing posts for Instagram if I'm in the mood. I'm not a big Instagram fan. I use it, but nowhere near how I do my podcast or Facebook. So things like that. There've also been some other shifts over the last 90 days. So I accepted a position on the special advisory board to the Vocational Mental Health Professionals Association of Australia. So that's taken up a little bit of time, but mostly, if I'm entirely honest, the time's my own. I would spend between, I say mornings is what I allocate for anything that's going to require attention or concentration and things like that, because I know usually from about 1 p.m. onwards, my energy and my, concentration focus, they start to decline. So most of like the big stuff's done in the mornings. But honestly, the big stuff is usually just if somebody in my group, like in Momentum, for example, maybe they're struggling with wait lists or something, I will spend a morning or two maybe creating a training and some resources around it and then putting them into the portal and stuff like that. So that's pretty much, when I'm not with clients, I'm doing, I guess, like content creation, really. It's time in Canva. Plus, I'm also learning. So I buy courses regularly, like I probably buy 3 a week or something, and I do those courses, and that helps me see whether or not like I'm ahead, which I always make sure I am, because I want to make sure that people who are trusting me with their businesses are getting the latest and best and most useful stuff. So there's that. Do you know what I mean? So that's pretty much my time, and that's how it's spent. Usually after about 2 o'clock, it's pretty downhill. It's the, say, 2 till 4, that's when I'll start doing the courses. So watching, if I've purchased a course, that's when I'll watch the replay of the training and start to muck around in, Canva and stuff like that. And then from 4 o'clock, I'm in the bath till dinner time, and I'm just doing Sudoku, really. And then it's dinner, and then I'm just pretty much relaxing. And if anyone's needing anything and I can help them, then I'm helping. So that's pretty much what the 90 days looks like. That's the context for you. But let me just read out so we can get an idea. And you know what? I'll be able to analyze this and see where the time's been going. Now, in this 90 days, I did have periods of time off where I wasn't working as well. So if I just start with like the first 30 days and just sort of flip through it quickly for you, I can see it's been like stuff like there was a Facebook post. So this day one, it was a Facebook post, an email, a podcast, a blog post, identity work, manifesting audio. I set up my happy Buddha. I set an intention, updated a vision board, right? So what was happening here was it was on the back of a break, and it was on the back of realizing that I had managed to make that turnover for the first 90 days. Those sales and everything for the first 90 days. And then I was like, I want to do it again. So what happened was at this point, because I'd been in Dalesford and I'd been having, that's where I go to connect with my spirituality and, all that kind of stuff. That was clearly on top of my mind when I came back, because I can see here that I've started listening to the audios again about manifesting. I've done identity work again. So for me, that looks like embodying my future self. So here it looks like thinking about the version of me 90 days from now that manifested the 90 days, right? How does she think? What does she do? Where's she spending her time? That's what I mean by the identity work. When I'm talking about the email, the podcast, and the blog post, usually that's pretty much the same core content but delivered differently because it's different audiences. So, yeah, don't think I'm sitting there like creating 3 totally separate pieces. I'm not. It's essentially the one piece of information, but on a podcast I've got more time, more flexibility. I can draw upon all of my experiences, share insights, have little jokes with you, all that kind of stuff. But when it's a blog post, it's written and it's there forever and everyone can see it, and you don't really get my vibe as well as you do on a podcast. So I have to write it in a little bit of a different way. So that's all that is. The Happy Buddha setup was I had been to Phillip Island and I was getting my nails done, and I was thinking about should I do this experiment or not. And while I was getting my nails done, they had one of those waving cats on the cash register, but it was a Buddha. And I got it in my head that I really wanted one too. So I went and got myself one of those. And instead of a cat with a waving paw, it's a Buddha, and he nods his head and he fans himself with a special fan. And I take the head nodding to mean yeah, you're doing the things that you need to be doing. Day 2 was really about just tidying up behind the scenes. So organising segments in Flowdesk, setting up Zapier, optimising my waitlist page for momentum, fixing my thank you page for products people could buy, identity work, the manifesting audio. I recorded a video sales letter for my weight page for momentum. I was basically just updating email sequences and things like that behind the scenes, getting my nurture and abandoned cart email workflows going, more of the manifesting and identity. And then as I'm just sort of scrolling through, because I won't bore you with all the details of every single day, blow by blow, but it's looking pretty repetitive. It's mostly revising copy for things, doing emails behind the scenes, which is interesting because I don't actually send that many, but these are automations. So when people buy stuff, making sure that they're getting the login and they know how to access stuff and things like that. Tracking my receipts and everything, still doing all the identity work and the manifesting, updating copy on sales pages for DCS, because I was going to be opening up the doors to the DCS again. Yeah, so it's all that kind of stuff, responding to applications that started to come in for momentum. So that was interesting. Over the 90 days, there were a bunch of applications that came through, and I can tell you there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that were approved. And probably double that weren't. They just weren't good fits, so they were redirected to other things, which is then what led me to I better update the pages for the other things, which then led to I better check that all my zaps are working, which led to I better check the emails are working. And that's what you're hearing now in all of those activities. So this kind of went on and on for a while. More of that, just updating sales pages, wait lists, everything. What else? The podcasts. It's a lot more stuff about me journaling, me listening to manifesting meditations. I listen to those at night. Me just getting organized. So I made new folders in Google Drive, for example. I deleted everything off the desktop on my computer. So I was just kind of in decluttering mode for a few days there. So that was pretty much the start. That was the first 30 days. So it was like very practical, a lot of work in the mornings, not so much in the afternoons. The afternoons were when I would sit down and listen to the manifesting audios or, read something, stuff like that. The next 60 days I was on leave for, 10 days there. So the 10 days that are all blank, it just says I was on leave. But that was when I was on leave. I bought the Wealthy Woman Oracle card deck. I bought a few books. I listened to the manifesting meditation. I had the Reiki session that you'll know about. I did more journaling, using the cards, all that kind of stuff. Lots of processing around my money story, guilt and shame around that, people pleasing, everything. So that was going on for pretty much most of that 10 days and continued when I got back. Everything was finalised in the middle of this 60 days here for VMHPAA, and my bio and headshot got put on the website. During this time as well, I was actively doing things for advocacy around counsellors that had a diploma. So it wasn't anything that was really going to contribute to the 100K, but you never know. I mean, I think it's helpful because when you do things like that, people are either like get on your bus or they get off it, don't they? And I think it probably helped some people get a sense of who I am. But it also probably modeled for people how it's okay for you to really embody the things that are important to you, rather than just say on your website that you have integrity and that you stand for things. It's good to let people see that you do. So even though what I did was polarizing, and that there certainly be people that were like, I don't respect Brooklyn anymore because she thinks that anyone can have a private practice even with a diploma, that's totally fine. They're probably just not a great fit for my practice right now anyway. And you never know. Things might change down the track and they might re-enter my world. It's totally fine. I'm detached from all of that. I used to get upset, but I'm not anymore. Because I just now prefer to lean into the trust that the right people find me. They always do. Then we've got starting to do the money tracker, which I didn't continue with. Like there's examples here. If you can see over my shoulder, you'll see like I start things and I stop them. So it's like I thought it was a really good idea to have this money tracker going. I stopped using it. I started selling things in the DMs. So I sold some of so a digital product basically is anything that isn't a physical product. So, or a service. So things like journals, courses, stuff like that. I, at one point over the period of a few days was just a spate of people asking me on Messenger if I had anything, and I was giving them links to stuff and they're buying it. So that was good. Updating website copy again, stuff like that. So you can hear like the website copy got all updated. The copy for Momentum got all updated. It was days and days and days working on this because I wanted to make sure that it was right. I was in a very different space. What ended up happening though was later on I'm still on the 60-day column, or was it the 90-day column? I'll just backtrack a bit. So still on the 60 days, other things were still doing the identity work, making action steps from all of that, doing my journaling, making action steps from that, sharing stories, putting posts on Facebook, putting posts on Instagram, doing my podcast, updating my blog. I haven't written a blog in about 4 weeks. I'm overdue. Right, here we go. Day 24 of the second lot of 60 days. So what's that? 30 and 24. So it's like day 54. I changed the Practice Momentum page back to what it was originally. What happened here was I had a page that I loved and it was converting, right? Lots of people signed up for Momentum, even more applied. It was working really well. But when I started doing all this work on my money mindset, I think I got like, I don't know, I just kind of sort of thought to myself, maybe I need to update how I'm presenting practice momentum. And maybe I need to go in and change it. And so that's what I did. And I thought that I was doing the right thing at the time. And then what happened was applications started slowing down. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then I went back and I had a look at it. Because you know how sometimes you make changes to stuff and then you just leave it alone, you never go back and check. But I thought, oh, I'll just go back and have a look. And then I looked at it and I thought, oh my gosh, this doesn't sound anything like me. Like, what's going on? And what happened was the first time I wrote my sales page for Momentum, I wrote it from my heart. And it was just like my thoughts on paper, basically. And then when I redid it, I got all in my head and I thought to myself, oh, I need to make it better. Like, I need to make sure it sounds better. And I got ChatGPT to help me write it. And when I looked at it, I didn't see me in there at all. It was like so not me. It was generic. It didn't feel good. It felt cold. And I thought, no wonder people are looking and they're not taking any action. So then I prayed that I still had the original copy from the first sales page. And I did, thank goodness. When I made the second one, I just duplicated the first one and then changed all the text. So thank goodness, like I still had the original. So I just flipped it back to the original. I turned the new one off and turned the old one back on. And then, within like, I don't know, about a week, maybe a little bit more, applications started coming in again. So, I mean, just more proof. Like, don't use ChatGPT for stuff. Like, trust yourself. You know what you're doing. So anyway, I had to spend time because then, of course, I needed to go and make some more changes and update proof and stories and stuff like that. So that was all happening there. So a lot of, you might say it's time wasting, but I think it was worth it because it worked. But big lesson there. And then the last 90 days, it's like me listening to subliminal audios about manifesting, calling in clients, my identity work again, still doing some course stuff. So I'm starting to see like there's definite threads here in terms of what I was doing. So it's like pretty regular podcast twice a week, most weeks, social posts most days, emails, weekly. And then some weeks I had 2, maybe 3 that went out because I'll get inspired. Leaning more into journaling and scripting. What else have we got? Sending off invoices, reviewing applications. Oh yeah, I went and did more decluttering and reduced my availability again in my calendar. I turned off a lot of notifications for things to help me with my focus. Created projection spreadsheets so that I can have a look at what's going on with the business sort of month to month for the next 12 months, because a lot of people are on payment plans and it just helps me get a sense of where everything's at. I didn't have that before, so that feels good. What else? Oh, I was making more content, of course. So that was for the women in Momentum. What else? I've got in here in big out of all the letters. Updated the sales page for Momentum again. So it was that. There's more journaling. Yep. The blog, the manifesting stuff, all those kinds of things. So that's pretty much what it was. And I can see that I had like some kind of idea of what I was doing, but there was no plan. I was just, there wasn't a plan. Like, I get the women in Momentum to make plans so that they know what they're focusing on from month to month, right? But for me, I guess I had a 90-day intention and I didn't know the how, because I guess how I work is I'm manifesting this, it's gonna happen. I don't know how, but I will take aligned action to show the universe that I'm serious about it and things like that. So I can see here there was a lot of time wasting. on things that didn't shift the needle, and I can absolutely get rid of all those kinds of activities for the next 90 days. I can see that just doing that is going to simplify everything and give me a plan that might actually work even better. Also, looking at this, I can see that I never really promoted momentum, even though I took more applications in July. But there's barely anything on here that I've done around promoting it. There's 2 months worth of working on the sales page, the waitlist page, but there's nothing there around me actually promoting it. So yeah, probably I could have hit my 100K had I actually been promoting it like with a proper launch or a proper promotion. So I can definitely include that for the next 90 days. So I can have a clearer promotion. I can cut out a lot of this stuff that didn't get me anywhere. I really think that doing the identity work, the manifesting, listening to the subliminals, listening to the audios, all those kinds of things, the journaling, working with my Wealthy Woman Oracle deck, I really think all that stuff has helped a lot. So I'm going to maybe lean into this as part of my own dependable strategy. Like one of the things that I can share with you from that is that I used that strategy of like I think I told you, like journaling, yes, but for me I feel like maybe it's channeling, like I'm getting ideas from source or universe or guides or whoever. I'm putting pen to paper and just like my hands moving quickly across back and forth the page and stuff's coming out. When I did that and shared it as a post on in my Facebook group, I got inquiries, I got sales, people purchased things like the website wellness check. There were 2 applications for momentum. There were inquiries around supervision. There was inquiries around do I do one-off, one-to-one business consultations, all that kind of stuff. So it triggered a flurry of activity in terms of that. So I know now that's a dependable business strategy for me. And I can see, looking top down now, retrospectively, when I look at everything that I did in these 90 days, when I used that as a strategy, that corresponds to applications coming in, inquiries, sales. So I think I only ever did it kind of after hours, because I thought that when I start working, work means you log on to the computer, you open your email, open up Facebook, get Canva open, ChatGPT's ready to go, and you just start your day, right? I never really considered that sitting down and journaling for me is actually a business strategy. I always thought that it was something I did that fills my cup, nourishes my soul, feels good in the moment, but I didn't actually see that it works for me in terms of growing my audience, growing my revenue and stuff like that. So I need to reframe this because it's clearly working. I need to do it more, and I have to start incorporating this journaling as a dependable business strategy for me because it's absolutely working. So that's another takeaway from this. What else? I think that's pretty much it. But I can see, just looking at this, like there's a lot of sort of, it felt big at the time, it felt urgent at the time, but maybe a lot of it was busy work that didn't go anywhere. Kind of like being busy in the business, but it's not shifting the needle. There's a fair whack of that happening. Like I spent maybe 3 or 4 days in Zapier trying to connect all different things, blah, 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 blah. Ended up giving up in the end and found an easier way to do stuff and then got rid of my Zaps altogether. Do you know what I mean? So there was a lot of this sort of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but big lessons. So yeah, I think what I'll do now is, it's Saturday, as I said, so maybe tomorrow, what I'll do is sit down, or maybe even this afternoon when I get back from running some errands, I might just sit down and make a bit of a plan. So I'm just going to duplicate this spreadsheet. I'll leave this one here so that the girls in Momentum can see what I was doing initially, and then they can see how it's evolved. I'll put the screenshots of the revenue here as well, so they've got that. I'll just add another sheet to this spreadsheet thing here, and I'll set it up for the next 90 days. I might start the next 90 days from Monday, so just maybe give myself a break for the weekend. But yeah, set it up. And because with this one that I did here, I wasn't planning anything. I was just documenting what I was doing in the moment as I was doing it. So it was like just me flying by the seat of my pants. So I think because I was operating from that space of I'm manifesting this, I've set my intention, it's all good. So I think now I can still approach it from the manifesting space, still trust that it will come to me in the right way, in divine timing, blah, 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 all the things. And I can still take aligned action, but I think I want to have a little bit more structure. And maybe what I do is I just be stricter with myself around perhaps only working mornings. So I'll just do 9 till 12 or 8:30 till 12. And I'll be more intentional about before I turn on computers and stuff like that, I will use this dependable business strategy and then make a plan from there. The other thing that I did that really helped, and this was something that just came in the last 2 weeks of the 60 days, and that was using ChatGPT differently. So I've totally cleared up all my ChatGPT. It was starting to look like Canva. You know, you've just got stuff everywhere. So I sorted that out. I've cleaned it up, and I've been doing brain dumps in it when I remember. So it hasn't been a practice yet, but it's been something that I've been doing that was helping me on the days that I was doing it. So I probably should start doing that again as well. So yeah, the lessons here, a little bit more structure. Instead of just working all day, I mean, it's fun. I love it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it, right? But I could just do say 9 to 12 and then afternoons, whatever I want, which would probably still be this, but maybe just be clear around that. Start with the journaling, start with the brain dumping to chat, then have the intention for, what's the goal for the month? So just like I get the Girls in Momentum to do, maybe I have a monthly goal that might work well for me. I can certainly give it a shot and see what happens. And again, set the goal for the 100K and let's see if we can do it next month if I make some of these changes. Not next month, in the next 90 days. So that'll be, what's today? Saturday the 19th of July. So that'll be Monday the 21st. So if I just get just looking at my phone here. Where's my calendar? There it is. So if we have a look, I don't like how trying to do it on my phone. Okay, so it'll be, say, the last week of July. So what's that? August is the first 30 days. September, October would be 90 days. So the last week in October. So I can do a review. Yeah, the last week of October, first week of November. I'll make a note in my Google Calendar to record a podcast episode on it. I'll do what I did again in terms of tracking everything, but not revealing to myself the totals because I want to have that moment of surprise and just pray for me. Hopefully we're going to get this done. Yeah. So that's it. It wasn't 100. So we've gone down by nearly, let's say it was 82 this quarter. Last quarter it was 100. So I'm down 18, which sounds like a lot, but I'm not panicking. I think I can bring this back to 100 now that I've got a better idea of what was going on. So anyway, that's it. I hope it was interesting. Please don't judge. I'm just like sharing this because I want you to see what it looks like, behind the scenes with me. Maybe you're further along than me. That's awesome. If you've got tips, let me know. Maybe you're just kind of starting on your journey and you're not sure like what you're doing, where you're sitting. Totally fine. Or maybe you're just like curious and you want to hear like what's going on over there on that side of the fence with Brooklyn's stuff. Well, this is what's happening on this side of the fence. So anyway, thank you so much for listening. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next episode. Have a lovely weekend. Bye. And that's a wrap for this episode of the Private Practice Podcast. So as you reflect on today's insights, imagine creating real success in your private practice without going down rabbit holes or exhausting yourself with business activities that don't move the needle. With Practice Momentum, you have push of a button help available on demand. It's like having an expert in your pocket ready to guide you whenever you need it. Visit brooklynstorme.com to discover how Practice Momentum can transform your approach to building a thriving practice. I'm Dr. Brooklyn Storme, and I'll see you next time as we continue exploring the mind, business, and spirit of private practice success.